episode of the Girl Stop Playing podcast. It's your favorite homegirl, Coriel, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. You already know that I believe you can make the money and you can get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. And for my ladies who are trying to have it all, y'all trying to get that honey, this show is for you because we got 3 fellas on the couch in the studio ready to give y'all the game. Are y'all ready, fellas?
Super ready.
I'm ready to give them a hard time.
I already know this because I asked them before we started rolling, but your name and your relationship status for the people.
Start.
We can start on the end.
My name is Willie, and I'm single.
Okay.
My name is Kadeem. I'm not single. I'm not married yet, but I'm really close.
Working on it.
Single until you're married.
That's what they said. Nah, that's what somebody said on our show. I don't subscribe to that.
They can say
I got a
you can
kid
say
with
that,
her.
bro.
We own a house
He
together.
said I'm not getting in no trouble. I am
At all.
very much so unsingle. Okay.
My name is Chris, and I'm married.
Say it with a little more excitement.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm married.
And I am married. How long have you
always
been
got
married,
something to
Chris?
say. I've been married for a year.
A year. How's
Yeah,
the...
my story is tricky.
Let's get into it.
I was married in 2016, got divorced 2017, remarried 2022. Yeah,
To the same person?
same person.
Let's get deep into it.
Oh, no.
Wait, what?
Let's get
I
it.
think this might be the first time I've heard of this. So what happened?
What happened? She didn't want to be married anymore.
She didn't want to be married anymore.
Yeah.
She said,
you
let's
knew
get a
that, though.
divorce.
What? You knew?
Because 80% of divorces are,
Women.
yes.
Yeah.
You already know.
Yeah, she didn't want to be married anymore.
I'm sorry.
There wasn't any infidelity, none of
So
that.
why did she not want to be married anymore?
Let's start with, I think the main issue for us was too much out of the house activity. Working too much.
You were
much
working
time with
too
your friends.
much.
No, her.
She was okay. So she wanted. Did she? For your interpretation, obviously she's not here to defend herself, sis. If you want to come down and tell your side, you can do that.
No. Oh, no. We keep it
This is it.
objective up
Okay.
here.
So from your perspective, though, because obviously she's not here, so I can't ask her. Do you feel like she wanted the single life back, or what do you think
I
that she
don't-
wanted?
No, I don't think, and I think she'll vouch. I don't think she knew what it meant to be a wife. And a lot of us, both sides, don't know what it takes to be a husband or a wife. So when I'm asking you to be home more and put in more work for the family instead of your job or whatever, and to that point, I think me as a husband, my communication skills were very rigid. Sit your ass down. Can we cuss up here?
Oh, we didn't ask the rules before we got
You can
here.
do you. We don't have no rules. You don't need to ask.
Okay. That's how I was coming with it. And it caused a clashing and that eventually.
So much to
Something.
unpack here.
Two very strong-minded people, if they're together, it could be great. But when they're
When they're
doing-
strong-minded on
right.
separate pages,
Right.
it's not good.
No.
How old were you when you got married the first time?
That was 2016. I was 27.
And she
Just
was
turned 27. She was 29.
okay, so a little bit older, but
But
still
yeah, a
very
little older.
young.
She was about 2 years older than me. Yeah.
Okay, so you got divorced like officially. You went through the whole process.
Yeah, 2018 officially divorced.
Did you have to? Because y'all were young, so y'all probably ain't had that much. But did y'all have to like split a bunch of assets and do
Nope.
all of the things? Okay, so you got through the divorce. Did y'all hate each other at the end of the divorce?
No.
It was like
No
amicable.
hate. No. It was some bitterness.
Okay, a
Yeah.
little bit of bitterness.
Yeah, bitterness on my part.
on your part
I don't know
because
if
it was her
I don't-
idea.
I don't really know if it was bitterness on her part.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna get to y'all.
You
So-
good?
No, you good. You good.
I'm over here listening like, really?
I'm
Well,
all
I know the story, so
in.
yeah.
I'm all in.
Yeah, he was
so,
there. I was
so
around.
you got together. How long did you date before you got married the first time?
I met her in 2011.
Okay, so you,
Officially
a
in
long
relationship
time.
2012. Proposed, I think, around 2015.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you've been down. Y'all been pinned
Yeah,
together.
Yeah, we've known each other for a while.
You've known each other for a while, so you have history. You got married. How long did you stay married? The first time.
7 months.
Is that an annulment? That wasn't a divorce, was it? You just got
No,
it
you
annulled.
know, I forgot why we couldn't do it.
6 months. It was probably like right after the cutoff.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it was. Because I thought about doing it, but it is what it is.
Okay. So you get divorced. You're a little bit bitter. How did you all get back together?
It's funny because she tried twice before we actually got it working right. The first time she tried to get back, I was slower on the trigger. I won't move in this fast.
You was still a little...
Yeah, I was a little reluctant.
Upset.
So she didn't feel like I was feeling her. But I feel like if you crack the door open just a little bit, that's enough for you to say, like, this person is actually trying. No, I'm not going to be like, yeah, come on, let's...
But you was giving her vibes like it might be a chance.
But it won't the pace that she wanted, so it kind of dissolved. She tried again the second time. It kind of dissolved again. Then the third time it worked.
And so the second time you got married, did you have like a whole wedding,
No,
or you all just
never again.
got remarried? Like you went to the courthouse and said, okay, it's
I would
official.
never have a wedding again.
Let's high five on that.
Oh, I'm not doing that either.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, fellas. Let's not. We don't want to sour them, but don't have no damn wedding. Okay,
Well,
spend that money on
it's
something
a
else.
waste of money to me.
This is the biggest. And my husband tried to tell me. He tried to told you. I did not listen. You tried to tell her?
Can I say something?
Please.
I was still paying off the wedding after
When you got divorced.
the marriage was done.
So that to me is mind-boggling. When people tell me that's the one thing I did not do. Okay, we did pay for the wedding as we went, so I didn't have like a bill that I'm still paying and all of that. I would be 10 times as pissed as I am now. I'm already pissed because people don't care about your stuff.
No.
People gonna waste your money on them $100 plates.
Yes.
People gonna talk about your stuff.
Yes.
People are gonna show up with no gifts.
Yes.
Okay, they're gonna do all of the things, and you're out your life savings, or you're out your salary that you've spent
Or
on
you
this
don't
wedding.
own a home yet.
You don't own nothing
Yeah.
yet, because we don't own these cars. Listen, that's a whole nother conversation. But okay, so you just went down to the courthouse, you made it official. However, you made it official. What did your family say?
They were happy.
They wanted y'all to get back
My
together.
mom kind of, she had a hunch that we were going to get back together.
Okay.
I kind of was in a space where I was good whether it happened or it didn't.
Do y'all
I
have
went through the
kids?
whole, we had a daughter at the divorce. I was kind of, the heartbreak was more so losing a family. I feel like that's what hits a man the most. Like, I can't speak for all men. I feel like for me, that's what it was. It was me losing my family. I don't want people to be statistics. I don't want my daughter to
Growing up without
be
you in the
between.
home.
And we co-parented well. I'll say that. It taught me that it can be as healthy as you want it to be. It's never going to replace the two-parent
home.
household, but you can make it as smooth as you possibly can.
This lady wanted a divorce with a child.
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels would be flipping over in his grave right now because sis, you wrecked your own home.
Yeah, man. A lot of and I can speak for her. We've had those talks. She went to therapy and she looked back at her past and how she wasn't raised to be a wife, and I think that's really what the answer was. Being a wife is not an easy job all the time. Just like being a husband isn't the easiest job all the time. And I think a lot of people are sold a dream that marriages and relationships are supposed to just be upward movement and happiness and all this stuff all the time, but it's not.
It is not 24/7 lovey-dovey. It is not. And it's not because you're changing and developing and growing every day as an individual. I'm changing and developing and growing every day as an individual. And then we're trying to figure this thing out together. And we still want to, quote unquote, make each other happy, even though we know that can't nobody make you happy. You got to make yourself happy.
Yep.
So sis got in these streets and realized there wasn't nothing out there.
Probably.
Oh, no.
I'm
See,
calling back home.
I don't want it to be that, though. I want it to be she wanted her family back. Not she was in the streets.
Both. But being in the streets and realizing something out there makes you appreciate what you had.
I think
Sometimes you got to lose it to...
It's a nuanced thing. It could be that. It could be self-reflection. It could be you wanting your family. It could be all that stuff jumbled up into one. It doesn't have to just be that or this. It can be all of that.
So knowing what you know now, thinking that, what was the biggest challenge is she was not raised to be a wife, which I had that question. Are black parents pushing marriage? You see down at the bottom, parents pushing marriage? That is one thing that we don't do in our community.
No.
We don't teach our daughters to be wives. We don't talk to our sons about being husbands or just being men, even just being men. We don't even have those conversations. And then we wonder why the statistics are what they are, why the results are what they are. But then if you ask a woman or a man, are you raising your daughter to be a wife? Like right now today, we still have some hesitation in even saying yes, because we still in the back of our mind think that raising a woman to be a wife means she's going to be less than. It means that we're not raising her to be strong or successful or whatever. It's like we have to choose, as if you can't be a strong, successful wife. So knowing what you know about your wife, how does that impact how you raise your daughter?
I think we take it as black and white too much. I think there's too much trauma in relationships that we don't deal with. So we cast that scarcity onto our children. And we're like, oh, this is where daddy got hurt, or this is where mommy got hurt. I'm not going to push you towards that. Yeah. Instead of saying, I got hurt, this is what I learned, or this is how you should conduct yourself. I want my daughters to be, we like to say self-sufficient on our podcast. I want them to be self-sufficient. You have to be able to go out there and get it, especially in this world that we live in. I want them to have that on their belt. But I also want them to have some wife skills on their belt too. I want them to find a man, because I'm not going to always be here. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what gets left out, because it's not necessarily just about what he's bringing home and all that stuff. It's about companionship, protection, all that good stuff. I want somebody that's going to be able to take care of my daughter while I'm not here. There's some things that women cannot do out in this world. I'm sorry. Y'all are very powerful, and there's some things y'all can do that we can't do. Mm-hmm. So you need that man, that complement, to really get the full potential out of this life that we're living. Not saying that you can't have a good life without a man, but I think you can have all of it, just like you said at the beginning of the podcast.
Facts. You can have it all. So as a once divorced, once married, now back married, mm-hmm. you done learned all the lessons. Mm-hmm. What do you say to these two fellas who are probably preparing for the position that you're already in?
Oh, that's a good question.
These are the conversations, though. It's like, I learned a lesson, let me teach it to you, so you don't have to learn it the hard way.
How real are we keeping it up here?
1,000.
Because bro been married.
Oh shit, we go around the guy. Look at his face.
I'm here to pod.
I wasn't keeping it that real. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, so what would we tell Kadeem? Because he ain't never been there yet.
The stuff that I would tell him is stuff that we talk about all the time, and it's just being a leader in all facets. Being the leader in the energy of your house, being the leader in being the bigger person, being a leader in the tone, all that stuff. And this is stuff that we talk and we try to practice at all times. I think that's the most important thing, because we are powerful too. I think when a man comes home and he's carrying something, kids feel it, wife feels it, they receive all, y'all feel all that stuff. So we have to be more tactful and considerate with that, and know how to channel those different emotions to our family in a healthy way. I think that's the best thing, just to be a leader in all facets. I think that's the
come on, leader.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Single, let's hear it. Let's hear how, because what's so fascinating to me, because we're not having these conversations with our children, because we're not raising daughters to be wives or raising boys to be men, it is uncommon that we get married so early. Yeah. It happens, but it's not the majority. So because you got married early, because you're still very young, so you obviously got married younger. How did you end up married younger, and how did you end up unmarried younger?
Yeah, I think it's the same idea. I don't think we look at marriage with the same energy that we should, as far as big commitment. I think for me it was more emotional than it was strategic, and I think marriage is more of a tying of a business relationship. So just because you love someone doesn't necessarily mean you guys should do business together, shouldn't mean you should do marriage together. So I think mine was just more an emotional state. We were just having fun. I love you, you love me. We like to do shit together. We like to do stuff together. So you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we were like, hey, that should mean we should go get married. And I think we found out really fast that there's so many other components to when you're bringing lives together. And so I think for me, it was just probably seeing my parents divorce, right? For me, it kind of almost made me think less of marriage. It's well, shit, if it don't work out, we'll just divorce. That was my mentality as I'm walking into the environment. It was we could just undo it. And so that's kind of probably why I didn't put that much thought into the actual process.
So you said you learned really quickly. Was it 7 months? Was it that quick?
No. Mine was probably off and on for 6 to 7 years.
Okay. And then, so what was it's off now, for real.
Right.
What was the
I think it was to a point where I realized that there were certain things that I just realized she could not do. There were certain parts of me or where I started to grow that I realized hey, it's not that she won't do it. She just probably doesn't have the ability or even the desire to fill in some of those gaps. And when I started to realize that there were things that I continued to desire that wasn't within that person, I felt like it was in my best interest to let her go. And so when I had that conversation with her, I thought it was going to be positive. It was more like, hey, like, you know, I want to make sure you go find someone that can actually tap into you the way you want to be tapped into, because I don't have that desire. Obviously, that's not how she played it, right? There was a lot of emotional dust that came with that. But for me, it was just really a realization that the person that she met years ago wasn't the person I was. And I think, you know, I'm a big advocate that men don't really fully tap into their full versions of themselves till 35 plus. So I'm 27 years old, and she was older than me as well. And she used to compare me to older men. And I started to realize at that time, I didn't know all these nuances. And then as I got older, I started to realize I was changing. I was like learning things about myself. I started to learn things of what I desire, what I didn't desire. I started to realize the things that were important to me. And I started to realize that those things that I desire, or now I have become to desire, she probably wasn't in the best space to give it to me. And maybe just based on her frame of reference, right? I think some people, we like to look at individuals based on how we saw them initially, right? So if I met you at Magic City, right, I'm probably gonna always see you as the Jen I met at Magic City. Even if you go get a PhD and become a scholar, I'm gonna still remember how I originally saw you, and I'm gonna still probably talk to you like the girl I saw in Magic City, no matter what has changed. And so for me, I just think she met me probably in a young state. I'm sure I was a terrible husband. I'm sure I had a lot of beta qualities. There were things that I didn't have no clue about, but I had evolved. And as I started to learn more about myself, I realized like, hey, you know, 7 years ago that probably worked, but that doesn't work for me now. And I don't think she was able to make that switch. And I respect it.
I think it's such a tricky, fine line, balancing act, stretching you as a person to grow together. Because like I said, you're becoming who I was before having children. I don't even know her no more. You know, like she is gone. Right. So if that was what was keeping my husband happy, he wouldn't be happy anymore, because I'm literally not that person anymore. And I think it's such a, like I said, like a fine line, and just like it takes everything to really grow together and not grow apart.
Yeah, we talk a lot about values, right? So two things I would say, like number one is if you guys align on values, it makes it somewhat easier to grow together, because at least you could always go back to that foundation, right? Even when things get rocky, our values are still aligned, so we can figure out how to like develop those. And then number two, like you have to, like one of my key principles now in relationships is you got to be with somebody that gives you the freedom to evolve. You got to let somebody say, hey, are you willing to be with me as I evolve, as I start to learn? Because I'm still learning now. There are things that I desire now that I may not desire when I'm 40, 45. Are you going to even give me the space to change? Are you going to give me the space to have a difference of opinions? Shit, next 2 years from now I might be a Buddhist. 4 years from now I might be Muslim. 5 years from now I could be atheist. I don't know.
Let me ask
are you going to give me that space to become that?
Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think there's stuff in us that is static, that doesn't change, like at our core? You know what I'm saying? Like we talking about all this changing and evolving.
For sure, like your principles, like it's never, like you, I could be Buddhist today, I might be Muslim tomorrow, I might be exploring whatever next week. That, I'm flexible. But am I ever going to change like my morals?
Yeah, who you are.
Who I am at my core. I don't think that person will change.
So you're not going to be a murderer next week?
Right. I'm not gonna think killing someone is okay.
Right.
So I asked y'all that because do you feel like when we're dating each other and we're like getting to know each other that we dig deep enough? Do you think we give it up wholly as far as who we are? Or do you think we just give what that person would like? You know what I'm saying? Do we give exactly?
I think we don't ask the right questions. I think we don't ask enough questions. And I think that we are not sometimes self-aware enough to even know the answers to those questions if they were asked.
Yeah.
But also, I think as we start to desire the person and we like we more fall in love, we sometimes like alter our the things we would even want to hear back, right? So even if there was a boundary that you really say, but I really like mess with you and I like love you, I don't want to let you go. So you might say some shit. I'm like, I don't really like that, but I can compromise.
That's how my stance on marriage changed.
Right.
So yes, hey Kaden.
What up?
Welcome to the show.
What up?
So as a currently legally single.
There we go.
Man, I'm
legally
single on paper.
Single till you're married.
Legal,
Nah, don't
on
put
paper
that
you're
on.
legal.
Don't put that
Legally
on me.
single. How does this conversation affect your decisions? Y'all have been friends, right? You saw him go through it firsthand.
For sure.
How did that experience, watching his experience, affect your experience?
I watched both of them go through it. So for me, I guess I would say, marriage, like Willie said, on paper, it's a certain thing. It's a business decision. And it's like, that don't mean you're committed or not. right? So for me, my commitment to you is how I'm showing up for you in the house, how I'm showing up for our family, how I'm really showing and proving. Because I know guys that are married, but when Christmas comes, they're PJ'd out with the family, but they're in this other girl's DM. So is that what you want? Is that more important? Is that ring more important? Is that ceremony more important? Or is it my actual true commitment to you more important? So that's how I always carried it. Mm-hmm. But like Willie said, as you get older and you get wiser, and that person means more to you, we have a family, we're growing together, my last name really means a lot to her, even though she could get it legally changed her own. It's like, no, I would do that for her. I wouldn't do it for nobody else, but I would do it for her.
So you're not discouraged?
No, not at all. Because we at the end of the day, we pick who we with. You know, I'm not picking somebody that I think is, we all got, different temperaments where we go up and down. But I think, like Chris said, two strong-headed people together, we can go do some things together, like on a big level. So for me, that's what I'm thinking about. That's my North Star in it. And I'm also learning, like he also said, the leadership qualities, how to control the temperature in my home, how to regulate when she's feeling the ways. I'm reading a book on nonviolent communication right now. I didn't even know that was a thing last week. And I did it, bro. And now I'm realizing I might be a violent communicator. So I'm trying to talk to people different. I'm trying to change my tone. I'm trying to make sure, how is what I'm saying being received? Am I listening? Am I actively listening? Am I listening to attack? If we have a confrontation, my confrontation habitual style is probably, or strategy, that's what it said in the book, is competitive confrontation. So I'm competing to win with you in this argument. Yeah. And I don't lose a lot. How does that make that other person feel? Now the things I say to her, they weigh heavier because of who I am to her. So now I'm trying to figure out all those different things. And it's a lot of work, but when you have a family like Chris, that means a lot to me. Family, and that's one of our core values together. So I'm willing to do all that.
It's worth working for sure. I actually had an episode with a pastor who does premarital counseling, and he was talking about the fact that communication, we talk about like finances is the reason communication, facts, hands down, is the number one. So when you said your communication was like, sit your ass down, that's what I thought about, because we don't think about how we communicate. We just communicate. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, you communicate the way you were communicated with. Mm-hmm. Like how your mother or your father or what you saw, like that is what naturally comes out without you being conscious of it. You're not thinking about it. And a lot of times, because you're not thinking about it, you're also not thinking about how it's being received. Yeah. You're just putting it out. You're just going. I for sure have had several conversations with my husband where it's like, he got to tell me, relax. I feel relaxed. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm talking to you. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't feel like I'm talking loud. I don't feel like I got an attitude. I'm just talking. Maybe I'm passionate about what I'm saying and I don't even realize it. And so if we cannot even come to an understanding, have an agreement about how we're going to communicate with one another or how that communication is being received, then that can be an underlying issue that can grow into a whole lot of different things. And so feeling how you feel about, weddings being a waste of money. How are you going to? How would you communicate that?
Oh, that's been communicated. I think.
You've already had that conversation.
Yeah, we're aligned on that. I mean, even the baby shower. We had our baby shower during the pandemic, and we spent a nice little pretty penny. It was a nice occasion, but you're supposed to get more gifts than you spend money on your baby shower. You know what I'm saying?
The math was not math. It wasn't.
Math, but first kid, we're out there together. So I was like, I'll do it.
Y'all did a drive-by? A drive-through?
No, I would have. No, look, he was there. They were there. It won't no drive. We was on the water. It was beautiful.
So y'all did it big. Y'all had a wedding for y'all be having weddings for these babies now.
No, it was something slight like that. Yeah, it was. It was in that ballpark.
Like $30,000-$40,000 you're spending on a baby shower.
But it was too much.
Outrageous.
So we're spending the kids' college fund on,
and the kid ain't even here yet. Yeah, don't even get to see it.
But you don't even get gifts that even come close to that. You don't even
listen. I'm still bitter about it. I still got PTSD from the wedding, the baby shower, all of the things that are in spirit is supposed to be for you.
Yeah.
But you're really doing for other people. Yeah. And it is, and they don't do it. They don't, it's not reciprocated.
And I got great friends, so we got really great gifts, but we priced out being able to break even.
It still ain't the same. It's not, the math ain't mathing for sure.
At all.
So would you say, Chris, your communication has improved?
Yes, definitely has improved. I think as a man, just keeping your calm is the most important thing ever. Like, you can really see the situation for what it really is. But I did want to ask y'all a question, because the way he was talking about understanding, and being able to control the temperature. I think that's something that, even though my communication was off, there was an underlying message there with certain things. Like the underlying message was, I need you home. We want to build. We said we were going to build. Let's get in here and build. I think the trust is what corrupts communication to a degree. I do agree that presentation and tone and all that stuff is important. But at the end of the day, we're human beings. We're imperfect. You got to trust your partner sometimes and put your feelings aside and be like, what's this person really trying to say? I'm not telling my wife to go jump off a cliff. I'm telling you, be home.
Do you trust me enough to follow my leadership?
Right, but do you trust me enough to look through your feelings in that immediate moment and say, what's this man or woman really saying to me?
Right, the trust intent.
Right, like if you're yelling at me,
that's big.
Me taking my ego out of it and being like, oh, I'm being yelled at. I need to destroy her. You know what I'm saying? And now it's the competition thing. Now you engage in my ego. Now it's not even us anymore. It's the egos with each other. We're not even.
You know what it is though? Because it's the ego and it's the little girl.
See, and that's that core thing I was talking about.
It's not like we are choosing not to. It literally is. We don't have the capacity. We don't have the skill set. We don't have the mindset. We haven't been taught how to heal that part of ourselves so that we can hear what you're truly trying to communicate.
It's the trauma too.
It is.
It's probably coming from your parents. Probably taught you this way, and now you like, oh, I'm an adult now. You ain't nobody ever gonna talk to me like that again.
Yeah.
And I agree that has to be. I'm gonna start just by saying that has to be gone. Like we need to be talking to each other better. But in that same vein, sometimes emotions get flared up, and it's because of that love. It's because I care. I'm invested here. If I didn't care, peace out.
Yeah,
that's easy. But yeah, I'm invested here, so I'm gonna care. So that means that I'm gonna talk a certain way sometimes. I'm gonna be like,
because you're passionate about it.
Like if stuff started popping off in this room right now, and bullets was flying, I'm not gonna be like, hey, can you please go duck behind the couch?
Yeah, I'm like, get your ass behind that couch.
Get your ass behind that couch. But the intention there is love. It's
protection.
Caring, right? So I think that's something that gets left out. We should have that understanding and trust when communication isn't as pretty and polished as you would like it to be.
He hit the nail on the head too, though, because it's a need. Like that's the overlay, right? When somebody's communicating with you, there's a need there, but there's a deeper want. So when your girl is mad at you about Instagram, it's never really about Instagram. It's almost never, ever, 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 ever really about what you did on Instagram. There's a want, like, I want to feel protected. I want to feel like he just loves me. It's something deeper than that there that we are arguing about Instagram, but there's something underlying there that we didn't even get to because I stopped at the beginning. I didn't even dig down. Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome. It's a good book. Say What You Mean. That's what I'm reading right now.
Say What You Mean. Whew. Okay, so I didn't know I had 3 married men. I'm gonna just call you married because you're on the path. Okay, you got your eye on the lady. Okay.
Life.
Oh, we could definitely talk about single life.
Well, this is what the single ladies want to know. Let me tell y'all.
All right.
And I want to hear from each person.
Our jerseys is hung.
The jerseys is up. Okay. So what
was
it about her that said this is the one? Because there's a lot of women out there. A large percentage of my audience is single women who want to be chosen. What made you choose the woman that you chose?
Y'all want me to go first?
Whoever wants to jump in, feel free.
Whoever has the answer first.
I said I was single. I want to be clear.
He's definitely
but you were married. You chose her. You committed to her. So what was it about her?
Yeah, but I think in the beginning, I think it was physical. Like I said, it was 36, 24, 36. You know what I mean? So like it wasn't really built on any.
I respect his answer.
It's the truth. That's when you're making decisions from a lower version of yourself when you're younger, right? So everybody doesn't make the best decision initially, and even the relationships you do end up cultivating. If people ask you what initially made you even get there, it's going to be something shallow. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, like for me, it was like we just have fun together. And I think a lot of women will say that, like they want to get swept off their feet. They want to feel a vibe. They want a man that looks good. They're clocking data points in the very beginning to get married. They're not. How many of these women are truly aligned in, like we talk about values and trying to go deeper? We don't want to. We want to stay in shallow. So yeah, my shit was definitely shallow in the beginning.
But the measurements is what made you marry?
Yeah, we was having fun, bro. I was attractive. The measurements is a proxy to the attraction. Okay. It was like at the end of the day, we had fun together. Like we vibed together. That was like my friend. You know what I mean? So like at the end of the day, I think for me, I was more attracted to the surface level aspects of the relationship. So like, yeah, I mean, and a lot of women, to be honest with you, there's women out here that are married, and some of the reason why they're married is based on their attraction, right? Men, sometimes we lead, and what number one is their attraction. So you think about a 29-year-old woman who most guys consider a 9 or a 10. How many of those are actually single compared to ones that people feel less than?
That's true.
That's just the truth. We hate it, but it kept. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. That's what he was telling these women.
The GOAT, the Godfather.
Get it while the getting is good.
Yep.
It ain't gonna be good
Now,
forever.
when I initially met her was years ago. I've known my girl for over a decade, and we coach youth football. So I was like, "Whose mom is that?" But as far as like where we are,
so she already had a child.
no, she doesn't have. Whoa,
Oh,
no.
wait. I'm sorry. I
No.
got confused.
It's a
Okay,
youth
go
football
ahead.
game.
Yeah, but no, she was bringing a kid, but it wasn't her kid.
Okay,
Her only
okay.
child is my child.
Okay.
We wouldn't be here if that was the case.
That's a deal breaker. We'll get back to that. Go ahead.
Okay. But for me, I think especially like sometimes we were both like bullheaded. My mother really, really liked her. And some of the stuff I've seen with her as we've progressed in our relationship, my mom was right. Like, she's super dope. Some of the best moments of my life, the highest highs I've spent with her. And it's like, okay, I would definitely forever with you if we get there.
So your mother was the
Yeah, because
guiding
I remember one
force.
time I called my mom. I was like, she got to go. I cannot. And my mom was like, yo, if you can get over that hill, that mountain, that wall she has up, because she's so guarded, there's a super great woman in there. And she was not lying. So, yeah.
Okay. Me, first time I got married, she was my friend.
No, you guys tell us what you said on our pod.
What? About the dream?
Yeah.
But see, that's what I was kind of talking about with trying to get at with Willie, because there's two different being chosen. Like, you can be chosen for that conception of our interaction, like us starting to know each other, me approaching you to get your number.
Yeah.
Is that the chosen, or is the married that you?
No, it's like the day that I said, okay, I don't want to live life without this girl.
Yeah,
like
that's-
want
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
That's more so what I was that's more so what I was getting at. I think with me, she was my friend. We could kick it, hang out, have fun together, like Willie was talking about. There's a lot of emotions in there. It's something that I felt like I needed to do the first time. The second time, it was more so her mind, the work she went through to work on herself. And this may sound funny, but it's the way she handled the divorce. Like, if she wouldn't have handled the divorce a certain way, I never would have did it again. Never. She didn't take me to court. She didn't seek child support. She was cool with the co-parenting work. Like, I think that told me a lot about her, because that's the most vulnerable I was, because she could have did a lot in that instance.
For sure.
And she didn't. So I was like, in my mind, I was on some Kadeem stuff where I was like, I'm not marrying nobody. I know it may sound funny, but if I was going to marry anybody, it would have been her to get my family back together. So
I commend you
That's
for
what I
that.
was
That is like one of the most selfless acts, to truly put your personal feelings, even though I'm sure you've gotten over it, but putting your personal feelings aside to do what's best for your family.
that's what accountability does, though. If I was still stuck in what she did and everything she did, and she did this, she did that, it wouldn't have worked.
But you realize, okay, I played a role
Yeah,
in this.
for sure.
So.
We were in it together. She won't by herself.
Okay, so what is your definition, each of you, of a wife? Definition or expectation? I'll say
man.
personal, not the world's definition, but you personally, from your wife. Like, this is how I define my wife. This is what I expect from her. Like, what is that?
I mean, I'll go first. I'll say it's somebody who's my mirror. I've always believed that. Like, my thing is, my wife would ultimately always make my world bigger. And they're going to make my world bigger through being agreeable, being cooperative, being smart, and being able to check those blind spots. So for me, when you talk about even being chosen, I think for the right man, right, so depending on where he's at, a man's looking for a woman to come in and complement his life. So if you're talking about this idea of, like, women, what should you be doing? The man that you really want to be with, you should be finding out, how do you plug those holes? Everybody has holes. But the man that's going to say, I can't live life without you, knows when your presence isn't there, they feel those holes. And when you're there, those holes are plugged. We know, men know, like, those women that, like, literally completes them or is that blind spot. And we also know the women that, you know, like I said, you're good for a good time, but not a long time. We know that intuitively, right? And it's usually not the girl that always is the finest girl. It isn't the girl with the fattest ass. It's usually that girl who knows how to tap into you. So for me, like ultimately, my woman has to make my world bigger in every aspect.
So would you get married again?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're designed to be. I don't even buy the bullshit of dudes who say they're not gonna get married. At the end of the day, 50, 60 years old, you don't want to be solo. You're gonna want companionship. So even the hardest dudes that talk like that, I kind of just be like, whatever.
They be
like,
lying.
yeah,
You thought I've been capping this whole time?
100%. Because at the end of the day, bro, you're gonna need somebody. Like, you're gonna need somebody there for you when you're in those last days. At the end of the day, could you imagine dying by yourself and nobody even knows you existed? You want somebody to pick up the phone and say, this nigga just died. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, yeah, we all want companionship. I think it's easier to say we want to get married when when we're at our peak, right? Because our options are plentiful. But when you're 55 years old, 56, and they diagnose you with XYZ, you're gonna want somebody there that you can cry on their shoulder with and live with. So yeah, of course, I'm definitely gonna get married again.
What if I had 6 of them around the bed when I died?
I respect that shit, bro. You know
Look,
how I
and
feel
Chris
about
will get
poly
it on,
life.
too. Chris will
You know how I
definitely
feel
have
about
6 of them
poly
around
life.
the bed.
Yeah,
like
you
a
got 6, that's
whole
even better.
nursing staff.
Yeah, I'm with that.
That's
No,
on fire.
I do agree with Willie. It's definitely a compliment. I was just saying this to Caitlin the other day. That's crazy. But somebody that, you know, y'all match, y'all mesh, y'all work well together. Somebody that we almost get to the point now where I don't have to say what I need. You know what I'm saying? She knows what I need. She knows how I'm moving, and vice versa. So to me, that compliment goes a long way in a lot of facets. I definitely want somebody that's super supportive and, you know, somebody that shows up the same way, because I'm going to show up. Like, all my friends know it. I want somebody that's going to give me that same energy. And just somebody, like you said, like a real life partner. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these women want. They want to take. They want you to go on trips. They think that's marriage. That's not marriage. It's a lot of work. You need somebody that's going to work with you. Like, they going to want to you got to both be willing to put the work in. Because once you start living with somebody and you got kids running around, it gets real fast.
Real fast.
Real fast.
Oh, and by the way, we gotta be sexually compatible. I don't want there's no capping.
Facts.
You gotta be sexually compatible.
What does that
Super
mean?
facts.
And then we're gonna get to your
we gotta when we get it popping, I gotta desire you. So like if I'm with a woman, even years later, right? I've been with women where we're sitting in a movie theater and I'm like, yo, when we get home, we're gonna get it done. And then sometimes you're with women that honestly, it just shit gets old. Shit, you're not even as excited about sleeping
So
with
do you think there is a possibility of it doesn't get old?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
This is the longest period of time I've been like, it doesn't get old. Like, I daydream
And
about
you gotta
my
think
girl.
About, and you gotta
That's
think about
crazy.
it. You gotta think about it. It's about how you carry yourself, how you put yourself together, staying in the gym, staying attractive.
Yeah.
Even your intelligence. Even what I was just saying, like when I'm halfway sapio. So for me, it's like, yo, I like smart women. You know what I'm saying? No, because it got to be both too, right? But mostly, like, if I like a smart woman will make me attractive. So even how you make my world bigger, that's gonna make me want to fuck the shit out of you. So like at the end of the day, I gotta be compatible. We gotta get it popping. I like women who like to think broadly, who are not so narrow-minded. I've been with women who like, I don't like this, I don't like that. I'm like, how's this gonna work? If you're gonna be the last woman I ever sleep with, we can't have rules of the stuff you're not willing to do.
Would you be in a open relationship or some non-traditional?
Yeah. I would be in a poly relationship.
With 2 husbands?
No, see, you trying to play me?
Why?
I'm just asking. I mean, I don't know. I was putting it out there. Okay, Chris, your definition of a wife. Or your expectation.
Why?
I mean,
I respect
that.
that.
Last and this one, they killed that. Especially Willie. Willie killed that.
well, you didn't second time around the block. What has changed?
As far as my definition of a wife,
Your expectation of a wife.
expectation, effort, open-mindedness. I think those are the key things for me. Nobody's ever going to be perfect. I think I'm just going to go the traditional route and say I look for a helpmeet. I think that's kind of the old school way to say compliment. But yeah, I think they killed it. I just want somebody that's going to understand and put forth the effort and have the same in-game vision that I have for our lives and find their space to help us get there.
So would you say that you prefer or expected more of a traditional wife than maybe your wife was actually prepared to be?
No, I
You
didn't.
said she didn't want to stay home?
Nah, I just wanted, like, I think a traditional, like hardcore traditional, it means you quitting your job and you staying home and you gonna be doing this and doing that. I just wanted to, when we have kids, like you say, you have to sacrifice certain things.
Yeah.
Like we don't have, when we were just, this is the thing. When it was just us and we didn't have no kids, they won't no sit your ass down. It was like, we got time. Do what you want. I'll see you later. But when we have kids and a home and things to maintain, yeah, that stuff can't come second. You can't put your friends first and then I'll take care of the laundry after that. It got to be, and that's the one thing I used to tell her all the time. Just take care of home. It doesn't necessarily have to be you just sit at home all day, but just make sure home is taken care of. And when I say home, I'm talking about me, the house, child. As long as that's taken care of, you can go do whatever you want to a degree.
So do you feel like when you both became parents, you both took on the responsibility in different ways? And maybe she didn't take on the responsibility in the way you expected?
I think a lot of times, and it goes back to the compliment thing, I think a lot of times men and women, when we have kids, we take on the same exact role. And it knocks off the balance for the child. Like now you in more so my lane trying to do what I do, and now we running in the same lane, but the child is missing a whole bunch of what you could really, really provide. Yeah. Like
break that down. What do you mean?
Me personally, if you're not taking care of home and you in corporate land, knocking down walls, kicking down doors, and the kid is getting leftovers from you, I think that's when it gets problematic. I'm all for, like, I think there's a way you can find a balance in that, but I think the family should come first. I think when you decide to have a family, that's the business that you need to cater to the most, not somebody else's stuff. And I can see if you were doing what you're doing, running your business and doing all that kind of stuff, but most of these women are working for somebody else, making somebody else rich, and we're not necessarily pouring back into us. Like Willie and Kadeem said, the marriage is almost like a corporate merger. Like, we're not just getting married to go give our energy everywhere else. Yeah, we get married to pour into us. Like, if you smart, you got this degree, you doing this, let's find a way to bring that here. Sense
for us.
Yeah, let's find a way to bring that here. I think that's great, but that's just my opinion.
And a lot of times you'll see these women are more willing to do whatever it takes in corporate America than they're willing to do it at home.
How many times we gonna have to say rest in peace, Kevin Samuels? Because that was one of his main points. It's like we can't be submissive to our husband, but we can submit to our boss all day long.
Every day. Yeah.
So I got a question. What was the one thing that helped you become the best version of the wife you are to your husband?
Why y'all ain't asked me that before my husband walked in the room?
I didn't even know. See, we didn't even know.
He might not agree. How we going? That helped me become the best version. I don't think I'm the best version yet.
Okay.
And I think that he supports me in figuring out who the best version is and how to become the best version. Because you can be your best single self. You can be your best wife self. But becoming your best mom self is something that I don't think you can ever be prepared for. It's something that changes every single day. Because who I have to show up for, I could take care of my man. But then I got these little boys who need something new that I've never done before every single day. Yeah. It's literally like you're pushing, you're pulling, you're stretching. And so that's why I think kids are amazing, would never want to live my life without my children. But even the best, most healthy relationship is going to change. I won't even say suffer or struggle, but it's going to change when kids get added into the equation.
I used to tell him before he had a baby, I'm like, bro, you can't compare my relationship with kids to yours without it. Bro, it's a whole different vibe.
So different.
Going to bed with a 1-year-old with squeegees all around. How many vibes is curated with kids?
I was here with Elmo this morning, so
I ain't letting y'all get that off.
No, it's the truth.
That's a vibe.
No.
Watching your wife or your girl with your child, loving your child and do what they need to do. That's a
vibe. But you know what?
We're talking about intimacy. We're talking about different.
No, I'm different because I will slide Sienna to the side. I do not care.
But I'm with her because think about it though. After a long day,
that's what we're not doing.
Right, exactly. After a long day, the kids are crying, the stress. It's a different energy. The vibe of the house changes from two people who are single with no kids to now kids being introduced. It changes the entire home dynamic. Your concerns are different. Your priorities are different. Friday nights used to be all about. Friday nights used to be about what we gonna do, what dates, what trips we're gonna take. Friday nights now is like who's gonna watch the baby or what are we gonna do when we get home, or now we're all sitting in the crib. Now it's like who's gonna get rest. It changes everything. So I totally agree with you. That's like 100% something I didn't even clock when I got married. Yeah,
there's no preparation for it, which thankfully I really like them a lot. Because outside of love. Like, seriously.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
Because
'cause I love
if
my
you do
daughter,
not
too.
actually like this person,
Yeah.
it can go left so
Yeah.
fast because you're trying to figure yourself out.
You
Who
talking
am
about
I?
your kids or you talking
I'm
about?
talking about my husband.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure.
I thought you were talking about the kids.
see,
No, I like my kids too.
No, I had a
but
baby.
my
I had a
husband.
baby 4 months into the marriage, and so that was something I actually
Okay.
I didn't articulate initially, but yeah, it changes everything because all the stuff we used to do, we were doing it just me and her. It wasn't until we started bringing those worlds together where stress got even higher.
Yeah,
So no,
that's-
you're 100%
That
right.
like is what holds that together too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I like this person. I feel like the friendship is what makes you consider the stuff that we were talking about before, like the trust and all that stuff. It makes you
But you're
consider
a
lot of
different
things.
type of friend single than you are with
And
with a
like
kid.
definitely trumps love in the long term.
Yeah.
It does because
Yeah,
that
big time.
love will. I
Come
don't
and go.
feel love right now, but I
Yeah.
actually like you.
I like you.
Right.
So I'm willing
Enough
to
to
work
keep
this out.
trying.
I'm willing to talk about it. I'm willing to dig deep. I'm willing to do whatever has to be done because I like you.
Yeah,
I
true.
rock with you. Like, you are actually my friend. I
Yes.
care about what you think, what you want outside of what I think and what I want
Yes.
selfishly right now. So because it throws such a wrench into your situation, is that why you were not willing to date a woman with kids?
I did. Before I was in this relationship, I did. That was the only time I ever did it.
And it didn't work out.
No, I didn't.
What did you hate about it?
Actually, I didn't. To be honest, I didn't hate anything about it. It was the circumstances, how it kind of played out. My mother passed away while me and the girl was talking, and then she kind of acted a fool when exes came around and people that, really knew my mother came around. So that was a whole different...
Oh, so it wasn't because she had kids.
No, it wasn't. It just before that, I had bumped into her before, and she would be like, "What you doing tonight?" And I seen 2 car seats in the back of her car, and I'd be like, "Nothing." And she,
So how did she win you over?
I don't know, it was a vibe. It was just energy.
So
It caught me one
when
day.
you felt this energy and the vibe, knowing that she had them 2 car seats in the back, did that automatically in your mind equate to this is just a vibe, or this could be a long-term something, I could be these kids' stepdaddy?
I don't know. We didn't get to that point because of all the other stuff that happened.
But it wasn't an automatic deal breaker that you could take her seriously because she had kids. No.
She was an outlier in the situation.
Is he lying? He lying, Chris? Is he lying?
No, I'm just saying like that initial thought is powerful.
No, but
So
can
you-
I,
when you- go ahead.
No, sorry, 'cause I was about to ask a question.
I was about to say, so what did you get into it for? Fun?
At first.
Okay.
Yeah, but this
fair.
is the thing though. Like, don't you think that you have to kind of gone through an experience with someone with kids to start even really fully understanding your boundaries around that? Because like for me,
No, I
like
agree with that.
it sounds like a good idea, right? Like we all get in the red pill community. You're not dating women with kids. You have all these issues, right? So I get it. And there's some dope women out there that had a kid that are going to be great women and great wives to other people. The problem is you don't really know your own personal boundaries when it comes to kids until you're in it, because you still don't understand how her relationship is going to be with her kid's father. You don't understand how she's going to prioritize you over the kid. Like, you don't know.
No, facts, yeah.
And so those are things I didn't even know the right questions to ask somebody with kids. But now I do, now that I've been with somebody that had kids. So I'm like, for me, is my preference to be with somebody with kids? No. But am I open to being with somebody with kids? Yeah. But I also know what to ask. I know how to feel. I know one of the things for me that I know this would shock a lot of women out there is like, can a woman with kids even put you first?
Yeah.
If they're not your
That's not a
kids.
shocker. That's a valid question.
Yeah, you know what I'm
No, it
saying?
is.
And a lot of single moms, the longer they're single, the more they cling to their identity of being a single mom. So they prioritize their kids here. So you're almost always going to be, depending on how many kids they are, third or two. And I think that's difficult, right? For a man that says, I'm going to marry you knowing I'm never going to be your priority, kind of what Chris just said.
And see, if from the Christian perspective, right, is God, husband,
Right.
God, each other, and then the kids.
Right.
But when they're your kids,
Absolutely.
it is a little off
that right?
balance because it's God, my kids, and then the man that I'm dating. But if you marry that man that you're dating, it never fully transitions because you don't feel right putting this man that you just married over your kids.
I agree. And so one of the things I've said on our podcast like several times, and I still believe this, you're probably not going to agree with me, but I think when you date a woman with kids, it's like forced polyamory, it's forced polygamy, because now you even have another man in your life that can dictate emotions and dictate policy with that woman. So for example, let's say me and this woman, we're going to get ready to go to Hawaii. And me and her going to pack our bags. And then her baby daddy call and say, hey, I'm not watching so-and-so, or I'm not going to do this, or something happened. That man can change direction of a trip. He can change direction of her mood. There's times where I've seen it where, I just got off the phone with my baby daddy, I'm upset. Like, he can change things in your household. You could be talking about another man on a Friday night instead of you talking about what you guys are going to get ready to do. So this person, like it or not, cool, we co-parent well, we don't co-parent well, still has access to your woman in certain ways that's like, can you tolerate that? And a lot of women's like, this man don't have access to me, we just co-parent. Yes, he does. He's going to be an active role. He's in the movie. He's in the show. He's a starring cast member until 20 years old, 21 years old. Can you handle that? Can your ego handle that?
It's fine.
These are
That
the
was my
facts.
first time doing it, but I mean, I had messed with women with children before, but I was like, when they sleep, I'm coming over, I'm eating the fruit snacks, I'm doing what I got to do, and I'm out of there.
But that's
You
the
was eating
thing.
the kids' fruit snacks?
If they got fruit snacks,
So women with kids, though, I think they have to think differently about their approach in finding that man. Because you said a lot of your audience is single women. So my question is, when women do now know that they have kids, they got to understand how they want to maneuver with that man, knowing that that's going to be a dilemma. How do they show up for them? Are they willing to communicate to that man, hey, I'm willing to put you first? Or do you even trust that man enough to put him first to say he's going to think about the holistic family and your kids? What happens is, it goes back to what Chris said, most women cannot relinquish trust to a man that's not their kids, to believe that he's going to be able to raise them in the way that if it was like their dad. So there were times, like, I was in that space where they were like, hey, I would say something, but she's like, no, I'm not feeling that. And then there were times where the kid got old enough to say, hey, this is my dad and you're just so-and-so. And so how does that woman show up? So a lot of women with single that have kids right now that want to be chosen, how are they even thinking about their approach in the event that they do find a guy they want to get married? They're not even thinking like that. They're thinking selfishly, but they're not really thinking about how is this dynamic really going to work. They're just going to like, do my kids like him? Do they get along? No, does he like your fucking kids?
I was
So,
about to say, I like the kids too. Like, it was a weird situation
Some
for me.
men don't like the kids.
No,
but
I
if
didn't
you
have
for
an issue.
example, God forbid something happen and you are not with your wife forever. You all have a child or children together. How do you feel as the father of those children with his philosophy that the man that she's dating should be put above those kids, but that's your kid? Do you still agree with that?
Tricky. I agree. I agree with it. That's the person I chose to be with. This person I chose to have kids with. I think some things are just out of your hand. You can't control that stuff.
Facts.
Like, I can try to be like, yo, you don't need to be with him. You don't need to do this. She's her own person.
No, I'm saying if technically she should be putting that man above her kids.
And I was saying husband.
Yeah,
Would I
husband.
want her to do that? Yeah. Especially if it's a man that's going to put my kids first, too.
Exactly.
People don't understand. Like, that put first stuff is tricky.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
Because it's like,
structured.
you putting me first is just saying you trust me to provide, protect, do provision, all that good stuff. But it like the kids, like we talked about on the pod months ago, kids are at the bottom of your hierarchy, but kids are going to be the most protected when stuff happens or when things happen. They're going to be the first ones thought of. So if you find a man that's really being in that element with my kids, yes, put him first. Make sure he's good, because he's going to be that person while I'm not there to protect my children or just be there for them and impart on them the way that I would like for him to. So, yeah.
Is this what you were saying while y'all was going through your divorce?
Man, I
and she was
want-
dating other people?
Man, I won't never in that. No, I want that person. I want that bitty
Oh.
bitty.
But think about it though. Don't you
Okay.
think that single women, especially like when they have kids for a long time, they start to tie their identity to their kids?
I don't know that they do it intentionally, but I think that they don't have a choice.
Right.
I think that it is an all-day struggle for them. They can't see past the struggle.
But so my question is, so if you can't see past the struggle, how are you going to honestly serve and submit a man at the same time? So are we telling the women that you should wait till your kids are gone before you're willing to marry?
I think it's tricky. I don't know that there is this is the solution. This is what you should do. Y'all know Kevin Samuel said, get the kids to their daddy. That's what he thought should happen. Do I think that there's ever going to be a world that we exist in that a woman is going to say, all right, bye kid? Not a woman. The majority of
the
women
majority, that's what
are
they
going to
say.
say, okay, go live with your father. I don't think that that's going to happen.
Never.
But that's what I'm saying. So the question is, for these single women that are out here with kids, the question is, what type of dynamic are you willing to provide to a man, knowing that you have kids, to be able to get married? Because another thing dealing with single women with kids is almost sometimes don't feel like they even see themselves past the time that their kids leave. Because the one thing we know about kids, they grow up and eventually what do they tell you? I got my own life. I got my own things I got going on. So my question is, are you going to wait till you're 45 and 50 when they tell you, hey, I'm going to go date this man, I'm going to go date this woman, I don't care what you say? Then you're going to start living your life? Or are you going to start saying, hey, there's going to come a time where my parenting, the active parenting, is going to fade, and I'm still going to have to live another, hopefully 30, 40 years as a single woman. How do I want that experience to look like? And we do know as you get older, it's going to become harder to marry. So what are you willing to sacrifice in the short term to get what you want long term?
I don't think we're willing.
And
I think that's why we're getting the results that we're getting,
Right. And Kevin
because
told
we, for the most part, we're not rational We're emotional.
Yes.
So we're thinking with our feelings right now versus I mean, even I've had these conversations that people get mad. They call me and pick me. I'm like, well, sis, I already got picked.
Look.
So I don't know about that.
Bombs.
But the conversation is, well, yeah, I don't care about being single because I'm like the whole die alone thing. Who wants that?
Right.
Nobody really wants to die alone, but emotionally, you're still so hurt by whoever hurt you that you can't see past this feeling that you have right now. Your logic has not kicked in to say, well, if 20 years down the line, you don't want to be alone. These are the things you should be doing now. We're not thinking past that because we're so hurt. We're so in our feelings. The world has done us wrong. That man hurt our feelings. And so we're operating in that place of hurt and not in the place of logic. These kids are going to leave one day.
Yep.
I'm going to want something different one day. And based on the decisions that I'm making today, that's going to depict. What word am I looking for? That's going to determine what I'm going to experience tomorrow.
And then the women now cling all those emotions to their kids, especially to their sons, and they're using their kids to fill the gap that they would want from a man.
Unhealthy way.
Here we go.
Y'all cooking.
I was about to say, I think it's also that immediate you was talking about. I think y'all live in the present more than we do, and it's what makes y'all beautiful, and it's what makes y'all a compliment to us, and why it serves us, because sometimes men get too caught out in the big picture or thinking for tomorrow and stuff like that. So I think that is an asset, but also when it's by itself and it's unmoderated, it's problematic because you're just in your feelings right now. I feel good right now. I'm getting attention from men right now. I have my kids right now. They love me. I'm good. You're not thinking this is not gonna last. A lot of women think just because they pulling 10 dudes on Tinder today doesn't mean that it's not gonna start depleting in a few years. Like, those numbers are gonna start to drop as your younger versions of you start to come out and they're available. So
we don't ever think we're gonna get old. We don't ever think we're not gonna be the baddest. We don't ever think our looks are gonna fade. We don't ever because men will try to sleep with us every single day of the week.
Yeah.
And we think that if men are trying to sleep with us, we have the opportunity to be committed to those men as well. Like, if they sleep with us, they'll marry us, and that is not the case.
Not at all.
So we don't see beyond today.
What you say, Willie? Retention rates?
Their retention rates is low.
Trash. Trash.
The retention rates
Speaking
is
of
low.
retention rates, we're talking about the future, but I want to talk about a woman's past.
Okay.
Is it a deal breaker? Is a woman's sexual history considered a deal breaker? Can it be?
To a degree,
To
yeah.
you, personally. Obviously not to all men, but your personal opinions.
Their actual sexual history?
Yeah.
I think it matters. I think it's a data point. I don't know if it's necessarily a deal breaker. But it's something that you should consider as a part of your overall decision making. I think it's hard to put a number on it, or like a deal breaker. A deal breaker is like very like binary. It's very like, hey, is it 50? Yes. If it's 100, I mean, if it's 100, no, right? No, I don't think so. And I don't think a woman's ever going to really give you that actual figure. But I think her past sexually should matter as far as a data point. I said, number one, how she respects herself, how she maneuvers out in the world, what's her propensity to potentially continue to that promiscuous activity within the relationship, what's her values around sexual, just being socially promiscuous, right? So I do think it's a data point. I think it's something you should consider. I think it's something you should take in, but I don't think it's a deal breaker because I don't think we'll ever fully understand that life. Like, a woman, when they start talking about men, they're going to cut out certain parts. They're not going to tell you, all the, when they were 17, they were behind the bleachers. They're not going to tell you that
You
stuff.
will never know that.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly. So for me, it's like, because I know I'll never know, I'm going to collect as much data as I can that you're willing to share. And I'm going to probably fill in some gaps that you're probably not willing to share. And I'm going to use that as a part of my decision making. But no, it's not a deal breaker for me.
So if a woman says, woman A and woman B, you're interested in both of them. They're both on the same level right now. You have this same conversation with both of them. Woman A says, I'm going to be 100% honest. We could take a lie detector test if you want to. I've had sex with 77 men. Woman B says, I'm going to be honest with you. We could take a lie detector test. I've had sex with 7 men, but I think you know 3 of them.
Oh my God! You see, you beat me to it, because I was about to say it's about how does that past come back on me?
Do I know that? Are we friends, or I just know them?
Am I in the circles with these men?
If you go out tonight and you see them, y'all are going to speak. So maybe it's not these guys. They're not your friends, but y'all know each other.
Well, you're not my friend. So we come from a small town, so that happens a lot. So I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna go with the 7 and the 3 that I know.
I don't know about that. It depends on the 3. Because you don't walk in a spot and then they'd be like, oh, he with.
You said y'all in a small town, so
You remember?
Nah,
Yeah,
but
everybody
I feel like
knows.
that happens all the time. Like we live in a town where everybody's like 1 or 2 degrees separated. So like even if you don't know someone directly, someone knows your girl and knows what she used to do. So you always got to be cognitive of that. Yo, like when you walk somewhere, somebody's over there is like, oh, that's so and so when she used to do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? So you already got to accept that. You know, and where we're from.
Chris,
So-
you ain't going. You're not going. You ain't going for sex with the
No, I
three
ain't picking
guys.
neither. I ain't gonna lie.
We got to pick
Neither?
one. She gave you A or B,
Oh,
bro.
I gotta
A or B?
pick.
Yeah,
She
you
gave
gotta
you
pick
A or B,
one.
fam.
I could die alone.
You're willing to buy a dog.
I'm good. I think there's principles or some stuff. If I had to pick one, yeah, I'll pick 7. We move.
Yeah.
7 and we're
There
out
we
of
go.
here.
Exactly.
7 and we're
That makes-
good.
I
We
like
out of
that.
there.
That's
You
a
like
good
that
answer.
answer?
Good answer. Good
Yo,
answer.
welcome to ATL 404.
Right.
We need to meet
All
her
up over
here.
here.
Okay, so not as far as sexual in terms of the number, but what about how she carries herself online? So the perception of her, because she
Definitely
could be
matters.
a virgin, but she got an OnlyFans.
No,
I say that all the time.
no.
It's
tricky.
I think.
No, but it's a respect thing though. Like when you're a woman that respects you is naturally not going to do certain things online. Now, if I don't know you, obviously, and you're single, and that's how you're carrying yourself, I'm gonna use it as a data point. But that doesn't mean that if you're a virgin, but you had an OnlyFans, and then I come in and then you completely change those things and we do something different, I still think that's worth a conversation. I can't judge what you do in a single space on how you're gonna move in a
I'm
relationship
with
space.
that.
I'm gonna just use a data
Kinda.
point. I think it's all data points. I think if we have these hard, steadfast rules that we're seeing in the red pill community, we're seeing in the woman community, we would never be with nobody because you'd get to like 7 great things and you get 2 rules that get broken. You'd be like, oh shit, this person had an OnlyFans. It was so nice until I found out you had an OnlyFans. No, we should be doing more cumulative assessments. If we go hard, fast, stead rules, these women out
Yeah.
there that you talk to, they're gonna stay fucking single because they're never gonna find the guy that's gonna hit every box.
But we've had guests on our show, and then we go look at their Instagram, and we're scrolling. We're like, what is this? Like, nah, not at all.
I agree with what Willie said, but I also say, do y'all think a woman that has OnlyFans and she's doing the stuff that OnlyFans people do you think that woman respects herself?
No.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It should be a data point. What if she got an OnlyFans and she's out there showing people her hand? And maybe there's guys out there with a hand fetish. I ain't gonna hold you. If you can make 7 figure, make even, I don't give a damn. You can make 40,000 showing your hand.
Show them hands.
Show those
them
hands.
You make, but I'm just going to challenge you for the sake of the show. You make 40,000, but you're also alluring and attracting millions of men.
Yeah.
So that also is attracting and alluring millions of cases of stalkers or
They're
people that
DMing
are jealous now of your
they're
husband.
DMing asking for more.
But women are gonna do. So if you are a woman of a certain attraction, you're gonna have that energy anyway. There's women that are gonna get DM'd anyway. There are gonna be women that want to go track you down anyway. It's not because you have a
selling
OnlyFans.
something though.
Right. I think when you're pushing a fetish now, it just heightens the degree to me.
It's a slippery slope.
And we talked about that before too. I think that makes a wife too. A wife protects in a different way.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. But can we truly judge this woman how she's acting as a single woman? We can use it as a data point, but
That's judgment.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying I'm down to use
like
it, but
saying data
I
point
just
instead of
can't. I
judgment.
can't do hard. I just feel like every woman that you come across is going to have things that you're going to go pros and they're going to be cons.
Of course.
And that's what I'm saying. It's hard for me. Like she's saying, only because she has OnlyFans. What if she's knocking out 9 out of the 10 things out of the box, and the OnlyFans is the only thing that's stopping us from being forever?
It could be that's qualitative. That's quantitative versus qualitative.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could have
absolutely.
certain things. Yeah, you got these 9, but they're not as heavy as this right here.
I guess OnlyFans. I guess if we were being very concise, OnlyFans isn't a hard boundary for me. So
I
no.
think a priority list is also a
Flexible.
tier list too. It's just
Right.
not I have these 10 things that I like.
Right.
There's a tier here.
Yeah.
Right.
Integrity is should be somewhere at the top.
And I just
I
need to
never-
know what's the content though.
I just think
Nah, bro. I'm
Is
sorry.
she showing ass? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say what she's doing.
Exactly.
Now look,
She's not
though.
reading
singing.
Bible verses.
They're not paying for that, right? Now, I would say I never used to really appreciate that until I was with the girl I'm with now. And she doesn't post nothing like that. Now, she's super fine. She's bad. But she don't have to do all that. And I used to be like, she's like, is this cool for me to wear out? And I'm like, girl, I don't care what you're wearing. And now
But
I think
now
of
you
it. Yeah, now I'm
appreciate
like,
it.
oh, I get it. Like, you making sure you keeping that extra off you.
But this is the thing, though. This is why I have to challenge that, because that's how she's showing up with you now that y'all in a relationship. I asked her a very specific question: is this how she's showing up as a single version of herself, or how she's showing up in the relationship?
But she didn't post
version?
like that when she was single, though.
But we don't know what they do when they're single. That's what I'm saying. We'll
But
never
we
know.
I'm talking about my girl. I'm not
No,
talking
no,
about
but I'm
every
saying
girl.
even with anybody's girl, I'm here to tell you, girls are showing up as their representative anyway. They're only going to give you a fraction. Do you tell Well, you had in your experience of knowing women, do you think they tell every little detail?
I think there's some things you're never gonna know.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a fact. But I'm talking about what she posts. We talking about the Instagram.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
We
but
talking
even
about
what
the
she
internet.
posts, I feel like women now are so intentional. Even when they get ready to get in that space of relationship, they
I'm gonna
clean
hit
stuff
archive.
up.
I'm gonna hit archive on
thank
all
you.
of that.
Do you feel like
I
men do
respect
that, though?
all that.
Do you feel like men leave out details too?
Of course.
For
Come on,
sure.
Chris. You know we leave
But
it.
Humans.
okay, hold on. Now let's circle back to the question of when we are really getting to know each other. There's walls now here, and maybe that cultivates through when we can't really get through to the person that we're with. We don't really know that person.
Right.
We don't really have the confidence to be vulnerable and say who we really are, what we really did.
Yeah,
I think that leaves the blind spots to where now the surface level stuff, you feel like that's who that person really is, and it's not.
I think at a macro level, I think you can find those things out. But I just think what she was saying, like, I totally agree. There's gonna be small details. There's gonna be nights that you'll probably never know about, girl trip activities that you may not ever get to where it may not be deal breakers, but there are gonna be things that where they're gonna want to protect their image. Women, especially when they get intentional about finding a husband, they don't want you to know that they had a couple dudes come through on them. They're not gonna want you to know that they used to.
Would that be a deal breaker?
I'm not saying it wouldn't be. I think women.
No, I'm asking, would it be? If you're dating somebody and she said, I thought, I got another question.
Bro, go ahead.
Let me ask this first question first, and then I'll circle back to that one.
Okay.
Can a woman have a threesome with two men?
Yeah,
And tell me about
A
it.
woman
Yeah,
can do
she
whatever
can
she
do
No,
whatever
wants.
she-
period. Not your girl, but is it possible?
Yeah.
Is it a threesome? Because me and my husband had
Oh.
this debate.
That's not a threesome.
What
That's
is
a
it?
That's a train.
That's what he said.
It's no.
So, okay, so
You
that
know
was my
what?
first question. Okay, but
Oh, yeah,
second
that's
question now,
unanimous.
if she comes and she thought it was a threesome, okay, this is what she
No,
thought.
she did not.
She thought it was. Women
Go
don't
ahead,
know this.
Brett.
Women don't know that. Let me just say, I did not know that.
That's a tale
Let's
of niggas
challenge though.
time.
Why is it a train? Why is it different?
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all tell me.
Why is it different?
It's
Why is
two
it different?
dicks, bro.
Okay, and it's two pussies.
Front and back, bro. Come on, man. No.
No, I'm just asking
I don't-
why is it different?
I'm not gonna hold you. I can agree that it could be a threesome, but I'm not gonna lie. This is where it's like this is my personal thing. If a woman tells me she wants to have a threesome with two dudes, I'm automatically grossed out. I'm automatically like, how
But
could
if
you?
she had one before, but before you, if she presents, like I've had a couple threesomes.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna judge you.
And that's
I'm gonna
two
be
of the
real-
three.
That's not a data point. That's a judgment.
There's
Yeah, I'm gonna
7
judge
men,
you.
and
I ain't
that's
gonna
two
hold
of
you.
the
I'm
three
gonna be
that you
shallow as
know.
hell in this.
Maybe.
Yeah, no,
Right.
see, so you walk in the spot and they be like, oh, that's so and so.
I ain't
We
gonna lie, I'm
we
probably
had her
never
in
gonna
the-
respect you. I ain't gonna, the
You're
more I
not.
think about it, I'm
So
like,
she could have OnlyFans,
Yeah.
but if she had a threesome with two people that you never know, you never gonna see, it
Dude.
wasn't online, that's a
I,
no.
I get one shallow card per episode. Yeah, I'm not using
I think
that.
I know why it's a train.
All right.
Just because it goes to that. I was trying to cape for y'all a little bit. Maybe to say, what if they were treating her like a goddess and she was getting served
No,
this,
they're not.
and she was, you know what I'm saying? Instead of getting smutted out, she was just like, they were
being catered
catering
to.
to her in every single way.
You wildin'.
But
I know,
think,
exactly.
I think it's a train just because y'all pull men so
It's
much
too easy,
easier
yeah.
than we do. It's not an accomplishment.
Yeah.
To get two dudes to come in a room, and when you get those two dudes to come in a room, what kind of dudes are those? Y'all dude is gonna share.
That is where I lose
nasty work.
any interest, because what are y'all doing in here?
Nasty work.
Exactly.
Crossing swords.
Nah.
Exactly.
Gross.
Totally agree. That's why I said I get the one. We get the one.
I'm a dude that I'm not really crazy over the threesome on my end. I'm cool.
I totally disagree.
Unless
I'm all
you
for
totally
that.
unless them vaginas can fuse and form some mega vagina that will take me to another world, I'm cool.
Chris
I
speaks
can
for
only
himself
fuck one
only.
at a time.
You're not about that
I can only
life.
fuck one at a
Speaking to the
time.
mic.
I can only fuck
You're not
one
about
at
that
a
life.
I can only have sex with one at a time.
This is true.
Head
I
first two
respect
at the
you,
same
Chris.
time is magical though, bro.
But they can't even now. You
Nah,
it's
one,
still one.
it
hole,
don't
bro.
matter. It don't matter, bro. It's magical.
Again,
No.
Chris
Can we
is
talk-
views-
can we
Chris
talk-
is
look
views,
up-
exactly.
Listen,
Take us back.
y'all have taken it there.
You take
I told them it was getting spicy on season 2.
Yo,
Let's say it like this.
you
They
brought
have
trains
two
up.
mouths and they just half kissing your shit.
One's
I
holding-
understand the
it's
imagery
not
is
worth
great,
it.
but
No,
y'all
the
stick my
imagery
shit
is-
in your mouth. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop playing with me.
Nah, the imagery is great.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm with.
Well,
that's why
again,
I'm-
we are
that's why
not
I'm with you.
aligned.
That's why I'm with
The imagery is
That's why I'm
amazing.
with you. But I'm
I
like,
appreciate the opposing opinion.
we have to. We have to do that.
You was almost about to side with her on trains too.
He was almost with
What are
me.
you into?
You were almost
No,
with
I
me.
call it a train too, but I think it's just
You was trying to pander?
That whole no, I wasn't trying to pander. I was trying to just make.
So, Chris, if your girl comes to you and was like, "Yo, I want to have a threesome with another girl," you're like, "Let's talk about this."
Or you're like, no, I'm not interested.
I'm not the dude. It's like, oh my god.
I'm not saying, "Oh my
no, you
God."
But
can't
you're
do
not
that.
going to
Like-
say no, thank
Exactly.
you.
It depends.
On the girl.
In
Like,
what
let's
world
just
would you
like
say
this.
no, thank
Let's
you?
say it like this. If I ask her, yo, are there rules?
Oh yeah, and there can't be no rules. No.
Like if we
no, I
can't
agree.
kiss the
It can't be
girl,
no rules. It
I
can't be
can't
no
go
rules.
crazy with her. I got to use a condom, man. That sounds like too much work.
I
I'm
respect
cool.
it.
No, I'm aligned.
Wait.
Now we're back.
Wait. What
And
are
that's
the
why-
rules? What? I'm sorry. There can't be any rules.
No rules.
This is your wife, though.
No
Why we
holds
in a
barred.
rush? Why can't she go get tested? She get on some kind of form of birth control, and we can just go crazy.
So you want this to be your girlfriend or something?
No, I want us to.
Dang.
I want to.
I mean, if she's gonna do all of that to have a threesome with y'all,
I just want
Oh,
to.
yeah, that is a lot of.
That's a lot.
But
I
I'm
don't
actually
want-
down for the girlfriend.
I
That's
don't
what
want
I'm
all
saying.
that constriction.
You said you were down
I
for
don't
it.
I wanna
I
be
don't want all
congruent.
that constriction. If I have to think about all this and I can't kiss her and I can't do this,
Don't do this
and,
like you do it to me type
And then
stuff.
if I'm wearing a condom, I gotta take the condom off when I'm in her and then put another one on when I'm
this
in.
is why I think it's not worthwhile.
No.
No,
That's
it's
why I'm
not.
like, if you got to do all of that, let's
Find
just
you
forget
one
about
that
it.
checks all them boxes.
Let's just
and
forget
you'll
about
be
it.
fine.
Let's just forget about
I've
it.
been said you just find one solid one that y'all are both down with, and then she becomes like the girlfriend. I'm with that.
I wanted to ask
Oh
you a
no,
question,
no, I'm,
but I'm
oh,
not
I
going
see.
to.
What you
No,
wanna-
no,
what you
don't
wanna
splice.
ask?
I said find one. Like I got my one already.
I'm about to say because he was saying something
Now
totally
I'm not
different.
playing.
What he want to live in? What's your
Right.
question?
I was gonna ask, what if y'all get the threesome chick pregnant?
That's what I'm saying. That's something we
Can y'all-
talk about.
I'm not getting a threesome check pregnant.
But you just said all the
You
things
said
that
you
you
don't
said.
want rules.
Yeah, but I'm
Right.
saying my
Yeah,
pullout
that's
game is
what I asked. I'm just
A1,
saying,
so
like,
I'm not
would
getting
you
her
do threesome chick
pregnant.
pregnant?
No.
Things could get crazy if you wild night.
No,
That's
I'm cool.
definitely interesting.
I had
Then
my
you're
first kid at
automatically
34
poly.
on purpose.
Yeah,
I'm
they were
good.
automatically poly.
You're automatically poly.
Shit. Fuck it.
All right, guys. So for the single ladies out there, think about this one, okay? One piece of advice. You got a little sister come to you and they like, yo, I'm ready to get married. Like, what am I doing wrong? What can I be doing right? One piece of advice. I want you to look into this camera and tell the people.
How old is she?
30 years old.
Okay.
Danger zone. Listen, I need my sound effects.
I'll go first. I would say be very selective on who you sleep with. You should really, really value your vagina, value the guys you associate yourself with, and always ensure that you are selective and know that you are a prize. So when a guy sleeps with you, it's being intentional. Don't ever think that you need to go through a hoe phase. Don't think you need to go out here and sleep with multiple men to see what that dick do. Be very careful. Make sure you're preparing yourself to have less miles on yourself when you meet the guy that you want to get married to.
I would say work on deprogramming yourself some. Some of the stuff we were taught, some of the stuff you watched, some of the music you listened to, it puts you in a space where you feel like you don't need a man, which isn't true. You want a man, and all them women selling you that music, they got men. I would say that same kind of culture makes you think being a housewife, being a homemaker is nasty, you subservient, all those things. Get that out your mind. The guy that you really want, the guy that's really going to take care of you, he's going to love that stuff. Focus on that. That's focus on being a wife before you are a wife. That's how you know, they say a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. Not a man, we don't make y'all wives. I mean, on paper we do, but you should be one before he meets you. So that would be my advice.
That's good, right there.
I would say ask yourself, before you commit to a man asking you commit to his leadership. If you can't, then it's a waste of your time. A lot of women get with men and they're like, oh, I don't want to submit to him. He can't lead me anyway. Why are you with him?
That was good, fellas.
Good stuff.
You got all right. Just another podcast. Tell the
Yeah.
people what it's all about, where they need to tune in.
Well, we talk about this kind of stuff, relationships, gender dynamics. We try to do it from a open, honest, not a super red pill, blue pill. We kind of in the middle, objective standpoint. You're going to see some clips that's going to trigger the ladies, but that's because you guys move the needle, right? Women are the ones that if they see a clip and they like it, they share it. If they see a clip and they hate it, they comment and they share it. So when you see that, just know that's part of the
Part of the strategy.
That's
Don't
part of
take
the
it personal.
strategy. But go check out the content. We keep both sides accountable. Chris, world-renowned author, he's always dropping gems. Willie, I call him Top G. He's always dropping gems. We got a world of experience. We're doing different things with our cast now, but we're still growing. And ATL has been nothing but love for us. So
And y'all gonna be back.
yeah, for sure.
Well, thank y'all for blessing the studio.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate
having
the
us.
conversation. I know the ladies love when I talk to men. So the fact that I got 3 up here,
Oh,
I know
dope.
this episode is gone.
Follow us.
Do numbers. Yes. Check them out. Your social media will be up on the screen. Thank y'all for tuning in. Send this episode to a friend, okay? Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.